Today's shir is Elishbach, Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak, Yaakov ben Chava, Oshish ben Chaim ben Ephraim, Sidov ben Chaim Pesach, William and Helen, Rachel bas Yosef, David ben Abraham, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Chana Golda bas Yisrael, Shoshana bas Elchanan, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chaim and Fege, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Chaim Eliyahu ben Yosef Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, and Gedalia ben Tzvi, Ruvain, Leila Nishmatam, and my dear Rosh Hashiva who passed away, my Rebbe, Reb Mordechai ben Roni, Zecher Tzadik v'Kodesh Levracha. His mother's name was Roni, right, and his father's name was Moshe. Reb Mordechai Goldstein, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, Mordechai ben Roni v'Moshe, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. Do we believe in love at first sight? Not love at first bite, love at first sight. If you take a look at your sheet, side number 1, I hope you like my picture. Hope you like the picture that I drew. You see Rivka's riding side saddle. You see that? Not like Annie Oakley, right, Yonatan? Not like Annie Oakley. And she sees Yitzchak in the distance. Now, the Medrash and the Zohar state that God fell in love with Israel. It was love at first sight. You hear? That's what the Medrash and the Zohar say, that when God fell in love with us, it was love at first sight. Okay? So, is love at first sight kosher? Why not? Side number 1, Bereshit 24. Vayetzeg Yitzchak l'suach pasodeh. Yitzchak went out walking in the field towards evening. He raised his eyes and he saw camels coming. Right? When Rivka looked up and saw Yitzchak, she fell for him. Since I fell for you. Remember that song? Ruvain. She fell for him in a big way. Right? By Tipol, she fell. Now, what was he doing, Lusuach? Why did she fall? Lusuach Basodeh means that he was davening in the field. He invented mincha. This explains why she fell. Up until that time, there was only shachrit. There was only shachrit until that time. There was only morning prayer. Yitzchak now established tfilas mincha. But there was no such thing as mincha until he did it now. He's davening late afternoon. As far as Rivka is concerned, what's he davening? There was only shachris. She fell off the camel. She says, "Oh, my chusin is a chusid." He's davening mincha shachris so late. Don't you get it? He's a Lubavitcher. He's davening mincha shachris. There was no such thing as mincha then. So what's he davening so late? Must be shachris. So she fell off the camel. She thought he's a Chabadnik. You know, they daven late. Don't you get it? Ha 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 ha. Yechiel, nobody laughed. I understand. I think it was pretty funny. Anyway, so she falls for him in a big way. And then Bereshit 24 says, Rivka took her veil and covered herself. So why did she cover herself? She took the veil and covered herself. And why do I need to know about it in the year 2016? Whatever's in the Torah is not sipurim, it's not stories. Beryl, I need to know that 3,800 years ago she covered herself, and that's why all kalas today cover their face at the chuppah. They learned from Rivka Imenu.
I thought they learned from Rachel.
No, good thing you came today. They learned from Rivka. Rivka covered her face when she saw her chusn. So all kalas covered their face. But Rivka, what's the message? Why did you cover your face? And what's the message? She's saying, I'm much more than a pretty face. She's telling her chassan and all of us, don't love me only for my pretty face. I'm much more than a pretty face. I'm a godly soul. Rivka remind her chatan and all of us that just like the veil, is the veil my face? The veil is only a covering. So my pretty face is also only a covering. Just like the veil covers the face, it's not me. So the face is also not me. It's only what? A covering. Don't confuse me with my bodysuit. Wow.
So why does the Torah tell us that Sarah and Rivka were Yifat Torah? Beautiful.
Why were they beautiful?
That's not important. So,
it is important. No. So now, Ira, you have to ask the question that the Vilna Gaon asked. We sing every Friday night, Eshes Chayol Miyimtza, right? Mishnah 31, that Sheker Achein Behevel Ayofi, that physical beauty is vain and meaningless. How could you say that, King Solomon, when the Torah goes out of her way to describe that all of the mothers of Israel are what? Knockouts. 10, remember 10? 10 plus? If physical beauty is vain and meaningless, then why does the Torah go out of her way to describe physical beauty? So the Vilna Gaon is asking Ira's question, or the other way around. So the Vilna Gaon explains we're not learning proper pshat in the pasuk in Mishlei 31. Sheker achein vehevel hayofi. If all a woman has is physical beauty, there's nothing behind the pretty face, it's an empty dress, then of course it's vain and meaningless, because a pretty face after 100 years is not so pretty. Right? But Isha Yirat Hashem, if a pretty woman is also God-fearing, Hitis halal, then you praise her for what? Her pretty face too. Of course a pretty face is important. But behind the pretty face there has to be a God-fearing woman. But the ikar is not the pretty face. The pretty face gets old. The godly soul is eternally young. So that's what Mama Rivka was teaching us. You ever wonder why Elsie the cow doesn't wear a dress? You ever wonder? Elsie the cow does not wear a dress. Why? Why is tzniut so important in Yahadut? Micha chapter 6, God tells the prophet Micha in chapter 6, Higid l'cha Adam, I'll tell you ma tov. You don't have it on your sheet, but you can look it up later. Micha chapter 6, I'll tell you what's good. What does Hashem seek from you? Hatzneya lechet im elahecha. To be tznua with Hashem your God. Micha chapter 6, you don't have it on your paper. God tells Micha, one of the ikar pillars of the Jewish religion, Hatzneya lechet im elahecha. To be a tznua with Hashem your God. Why is being modest so important? Who cares how long my dress is? So to answer this question, I'll ask, how come Elsie the cow doesn't wear a dress? You never wondered about, remember Elsie the cow? How come animals don't wear clothes? The answer is, by an animal, what you see is what you get. There's nothing behind the skin. There's no need to cover up, because what you see is what you get. But a human being, clothes is so important, because clothes remind us that just like clothes make the man, just like clothes is not me, it's only what? A covering. So my bodysuit is also not me, it's only a covering. People that dress immodestly, they're saying I'm no different than a behemoth. There's nothing behind the skin. So therefore modesty is so important in Jewish religion. It reminds us that just like clothes are not me, it's only a covering, so too my body is not me. I'm much more than a body. Clothes remind us that my body is only a clothes to cover up my godly soul. And therefore tznius is so important. It reminds us, don't confuse me with my bodysuit. Okay? I'm much more than that. But an animal, what you see is what you get. There's no need to cover up. So tznius, modest dress, reminds us that a human being is much more than what? Than an animal, because he has a godly soul. Clothes remind us. You ever wonder when a person is shitting shiva le'aleinu, why do you tear the clothes? There are many reasons. One reason is, al pi Kabbalah, that's a great consolation for the relatives. My relative, his body is all torn, but that's not him. Just like my shirt is not me. Is my shirt me? It's a covering. So when a person writes his Kriya, it's consoling himself that my relative, even though his body is all torn, but that's only what? His beged. The godly soul is not torn. The godly soul remains eternally young. So that's one of the reasons for doing a kriya le'aleinu on a niftar. It consoles the person that his beloved relative is not torn. That's just his bodysuit. The godly soul remains forever young and eternal. So love at first sight. Do we believe in it? Yes?
Tzniut is the opposite of gava also.
Tzniut means modesty, not just in dress, but it also means in dress. So why is halacha so obsessed with clothes? Again, to remind me that just like clothes are not me, it's only a covering, my body is not me. The body wears out, gets old, and dies, but that's just the covering. The clothes draw attention to that, Ruvain. They remind me of that, and therefore dressing modestly is so important to Jewish religion. So love at first sight reminds me of a story. All my stories are true, but some didn't happen yet. This guy walks up to a girl in a party, and he says to her, "Do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk around the room again?" Okay, do you mind opening the window? Thank you, I don't want to fall asleep. So let's take a look why she fell for Rivka falls for Yitzchak in a big way. Love should make us rise, not fall, right? Now the Zohar says something amazing. A person cannot really be madly in love with the one above unless he's first madly in love with his spouse. Therefore, getting married is the first mitzvah in the Torah, because a person cannot really passionately love God unless he passionately loves what? His spouse. And this is Shir Hashirim. Shir Hashirim is a graphic, erotic love song between God and the Jewish people. But it's written between a man and a woman. So Chazal say it's written between a man and a woman, but it really means what? God and the Jewish people. So my question to Chama is, if you can go like this, why do you have to go like this? If it's a passionate love song between God and the Jewish people, why don't you say so? Why do you have to hide it as what? As a passionate erotic love song between what? A man and a woman, when it really means what? God and Israel. Why don't you say what you mean? So the Zohar explains, because a person cannot passionately be in love with God unless first he's passionately in love with his spouse. So therefore, only when a man and a woman learn how to love each other passionately, only then can they graduate to be madly in love with the one above. Therefore, getting married and loving your spouse is the first mitzvah in the Torah. So, look at the last source on the page. She fell off the camel for modesty, since she had been riding like a man because of the camel's kicking. So my picture is not correct, Nechama, right? She was riding like Annie Oakley. Side saddle, what? Not side saddle. Yeah, that's my picture, okay. So the Rashbam says that she fell off the camel for modesty, since she was riding like Annie Oakley because the camel was kicking, okay? So let's turn over the other side. This guy asks his rabbi, you know, you're not allowed to hear a female singer. So the guy asks his rabbi, can I go to the opera? There are female singers there. So the rabbi says, you want to go to the opera? You're not over until the fat lady sings. Don't you get it? You're not over until the fat lady sings. Over means you don't transgress. If I have to explain it, forget about it. I thought it was pretty funny, you know? All right. Anyway, so look, you're not over. You don't transgress until the fat lady sings. Who said it ain't over till it's over, right? Till the fat lady sings. I think Yogi Berra said that. But anyway, look at the next source on side number 2. You have it? The Sforno. You want to know why she fell off the camel. She bowed her head to Isaac. You have a paper? It's in English, I think. From her seat on the camel as a sign of what? Of respect. So she fell for him in a big way. Now, Bereshis 24:67. Vayikach et Rivka. He married Rivka. Vatilo leisha, and she became his wife. And then he loved her. So we sing love and marriage, love and marriage. But the Torah says no. Marriage and love, marriage and love. Avram, what's going on over here? Vayikach et Rivka. He married Rivka, vatilo leisha, and she became his wife. Isn't that redundant? Sarah, if you marry a woman, isn't she your wife? So what's the Torah telling me? Seems to be redundant. If you marry a woman, isn't she your wife? So the answer is, halacha learns from here, it's not redundant, that Jewish marriage consists of what, Beryl? 2 stages. Kiddushin and Nisuyin. From this pasuk, it's not stories, it's GPS, God's personal system. Vayikach et Rivka. He married Rivka, that's the Kiddushin. Vatilo leisha, that's the Nisuyin. Jewish marriage consists of 2 stages. You ever wonder why, Nechama, in the middle of a chuppah, the rabbi gets up and reads the ketubah? Who knows what he's talking about? It's all in Aramaic. It's Greek to me. It's Aramaic to me. The caterer is ready. The photographer is ready. He's reading the ketubah there for 20 minutes. Who knows what he's saying? Leah, why is that important? To separate, Rivka said, between the Kiddushin and the Nisuin. There are 2 separate stages. The ceremony before the ketubah, that's the Kiddushin. There has to be a little psik, a little break. And then after the reading of ketubah, time out, what comes later is the Nisuin. So we learn from this pasuk that a Jewish marriage consists of 2 stages. Before the ketubah, that's the Kiddushin. So even though they're married, they cannot be intimate with each other until after the chuppah, they go into the yichud room, and then it's lovey-dovey. So you learn from this pasuk. He married her, Kiddushin, Vatilo leisha, that's stage number 2, that is the Nisuin in the yichud room. So, the Torah tells us, Vayikach et Rivka, Vatilo leisha, and then he loved her. Look at S.R. Hirsch. The more she became his wife, the more what? He loved her. So Rav Hirsch says, just as this marriage of the first Jewish son, so too most Jewish marriages in our own day, he's writing in 1880, are contracted not on the basis of passion, but what? On the strength of reason and judgment, right? This was in 1880, where in Germany, okay? So, Rashi in Bereshit, why did she fall off the camel? Rashi says, Ra'ata ota hadur, v'toa mipanav. She saw him, hadur. What does hadur mean? Distinguished, like, how would we say today, a hunk? What would we say today? I don't know. She saw him hadur. I'm dating myself, right? He was really starker, right? Beauty. And she was shocked, and she literally fell off the camel. Right, hadur, right? He was really handsome. Hadur, v'toa mipanav. So, let's go back to side number 1. Bereshis 24, 63, 67. Yitzchak went out walking in the field toward evening. He raised his eyes, he saw camels approaching. Rivka looked up and saw Isaac. She fell off the camel. She asked the servant, who is this man coming towards us? And the servant said, this is my master. Rebekah took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Yitzchak all the things that he had done. Yitzchak brought Rebekah into his mother Sarah's tent. He married Rebekah. She became his wife, and he loved her. Yitzchak was then consoled for the loss of what? I married a girl. What's the song? Like dear old mom?
No.
How's the song go?
I want a girl just like the girl who married dear old
Dear old dad. Okay, so what's the Torah telling me? That he brought Rivka into his mother Sarah's tent. Why is that important? Whose tent he brought her into? Torah is not history. Torah is current events. You need to know 31 years ago, he brought her into his mother Sarah's tent. And then he was consoled for the loss of his mother. What's the message of the Torah over here? What's the message? Why is that important? So Rashi quotes the Talmud that when Sarah was alive, there were 3 miracles. The Friday night candle remained lit all week. The bread remained fresh, even though there was no toaster oven. The bread remained hot and fresh all week. And there was the Shekhinah hovering above her tent. And when she died, all of these miracles, what? Took a powder. Why, Yechiel? Abraham was still alive. Abraham was still alive. Too bad. The miracles were dafke in the schus of Sarah. Even though Abraham was alive, the miracles ceased. When Rivka came into Sarah's tent, what happened? All these miracles came back. So we see that the mamas are greater than the papas. Abraham was alive, Yitzchak was alive, yet no miracles. Just in the schus of Mama Sarah and Mama Rivka. Right? So which miracles? The challah remained fresh all week. The candle remained lit all week. And what? There was an anan. The magic cloud hovered over her tent. Why dafka these 3 miracles? There are many other miracles that could have happened. Why dafka those 3? What? Women. Yeah, so what? What do you mean, women? Women have to keep Shabbos too. Those are the 3 mitzvahs. You look at Masechta Shabbat. Those 3 miracles represent the 3 mitzvot that speak uniquely to women. What are the 3? Challah, Nida, Hadlokas Haner. Women, they separate challah from the dough. Women light candles Friday night. And laws of Taharat HaMishpacha. Challah, Nida, Hadlokas Haner. Rosh Tevot, Chana. Yaakov had secret password that he gave Rachel under the chuppah. And Rachel gave the secret password to what? To Leah. What was the secret password? Chana. Chana, I just told you. Chana. Chala. Nida Hadlakas Haner.
Oh my goodness.
The laws of Chala, the laws of Nida, and the laws of what? Hadlokat Haner. That's the secret password, because somehow these 3 mitzvahs speak uniquely to what? To women. Why? And the Ramban says something incredible. In the Mishkan, which 3 miracles did you have in the Mishkan and the Midbar? The lechem aponim remained hot and fresh all week. The showbread remained on the table all week, and a week later the Kahana made it on Shabbat, and it was what? Hot and fresh, even though no toaster oven. The Ner Maravi in the menorah remained lit all week. The other 6 candles went out, but the Ner Maravi in the menorah remained lit all week, and there was a magic cloud hovering over what? Says the Ramban, the Mishkan, you sitting down, Yonatan, was a replica of whose tent? Sarah's tent, not Abraham. God said, build me a Mishkan. That will be a replica of Mama Sarah's tent, not Father Abraham. So these 3 miracles in the Mishkan parallel the 3 miracles what? Sarah's tent. The lechem aponim, the showbread, remained hot and fresh all week. And in the Mishkan, that paralleled the bread in Sarah's house. The Ner Maravi of the menorah, the other 6 went out in the Mishkan. That remained lit. That represents Sarah's candle, remained lit all week. And the Anan hovering over the tent of the Mishkan paralleled the Anan hovering over the tent of Sarah's tent. So the Ramban, the great Ramban, says that the Mishkan was a dugma of the what? Sarah's tent, not Abraham's tent. Now we have to say, why dafka these 3 mitzvot speak uniquely to women, and therefore these 3 miracles happen in Sarah's tent? What's so important about these 3 mitzvot? If you want to sum up the whole Jewish religion, Yochanan, I'll sum it up for you. Kedushas HaMakom, Kedushas Haguf, Kedushas Hazman. Any mitzvah of the Taryag mitzvot, the purpose is either to sanctify time, to sanctify place, or to sanctify what? The body. Any mitzvah you can think of. Either to sanctify place, sanctify time, or to sanctify the body. These three mitzvot sum up the entire Jewish religion. I'll prove it to you. Therefore, they were uniquely given over to what? To women. We guys couldn't be trusted. We'd fumble the football. I'll prove to you that Chala, Nida, Lokas Haner represents Kedushas HaMakom, Kedushas HaGuf, Kedushas HaZman, and therefore these three mitzvahs were uniquely given over, Yehuda, to the mamas, not the papas.
Doesn't the papas have to remind the mamas of those three mitzvahs?
No.
No. Good, glad you asked.
Who's that show?
1 minute here. Where is challah baked? Usually in the home. When a woman bakes challah in a home and separates the dough, she is sanctifying her place. By lighting candles Friday night, what is she doing? She's sanctifying time. Now, Friday night candles, the time-bound mitzvah. How come you ladies have to do it? Normally, you ladies are exempt from time-bound mitzvahs. So why dafka lighting candles Friday night, a time-bound mitzvah, which ladies should be exempt? Why are they obligated? I just told you why. Because when a lady lights the candles Friday night, what is she doing? She's sanctifying time. She's more qualified than me. Lighting candles Friday night, she's sanctifying time. Kill time, waste time? No. Time can be sanctified. We can rule over time. We can rise above time. Through the mitzvah, Lokas Haner was sanctifying time. What's the third ikra of Yahadut? Sanctifying the body. When a lady goes to the mikvah, what is she doing? She's sanctifying her body. Not just my godly soul is holy. To the laws of Nidah, she's saying that my body as well can become holy. Not just my guf. Therefore, a pretty face is important in Judaism. Because ladies who are Yirah Shemayim and keep the laws of Taharat HaMishpacha, she's saying, my body is also holy. My pretty face is also. Pretty woman walking down the street. See that? Through the laws of Taharat HaMishpacha Nida, the woman is sanctifying her body as well. So these three miracles in Sarah's tent, the bread remained fresh all week. In Sarah's tent, she kept the laws of challah. Hadlokas Haner, she lit the candle Friday night, it remained lit. And the Anan hovering over her tent, the Shechina testified that Mama Sarah kept the laws of what? Hilchas Nidah. These three mitzvahs are the entire Jewish religion. By baking challah in the home, we sanctify the home. By going to the mikvah, the lady sanctifies her body. And by lighting candles Friday night, she is sanctifying what? Time. That's the whole Jewish religion. The whole Jewish religion is Kedushas HaMakom, Kedushas HaGuf, Kedushas HaZman. So, Nechama, that just begs the question, why is that the whole Jewish religion? Why is the Jewish religion so obsessed with what? Sanctifying time, sanctifying place, and sanctifying the body. Why is that so important in Jewish religion? Beryl, that is the Jewish religion. So the Rambam points out, what is the difference between this world and Olam Haba? Those three things. This world, we're limited by place, body, and time. Olam Haba, we're not limited to time, place, and body. In Olam Haba, in the afterlife, the neshama can roam at will. If I'm here, I can't be there, right? Because I'm trapped in a body. But when a person is released from his bodysuit after death, he's not limited to one place. The neshama, says Rambam, can be all over at the same time. You're not trapped in your bodysuit anymore. Therefore, a dead person in Hebrew is called a niftar. What does a niftar mean? Released. What else? In this physical world, you're trapped by time. In the Olam Haba, past, present, and future is all one. And what else is the different? Guf. You have no guf. So the Rambam says when you do the mitzvot, you are connecting Olam Hazeh, Olam Haba. You're having an out-of-body experience while you're in this world. A lady goes to the mikveh, she's sanctifying her body, she's rising out-of-body experience. A lady comes out of the mikveh, it's like out-of-body experience, right? And you light the candles Friday night, you are rising above time. And when you bake challah, you're rising above your place. So that's Jewish religion, time, place, and body, because that's the main difference between what Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. So through the mitzvahs of the Torah, we are connecting the physical world through the spiritual world. We're having an out-of-body experience while we're still in this world. That's the purpose of the Jewish religion, to get you ready for what? Olam Haba. For practicing the mitzvahs, you're sanctifying time, you're sanctifying place, you're sanctifying your body. That prepares a person for eternity. Because in Olam Haba, you're not trapped in your body. You're not limited by time. And you're not limited to any place. So, look at the side number 2. When Adam took one look at Eve, what did he say? You're the only one for me. Bereshis 2, you have that, Sarah? Vayomer Adam. Adam explains, Zot apam, this time. Etzem yatzama, yabosam absari, Adam's rib. This time, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Therefore, she shall be called what? Woman. Isha. So we learn from here that Adam spoke Hebrew, right? Vayomer Adam, Zot apam, this time. Etzem atzamai, bone of my bone. Ubosam, sorry, and flesh of my flesh. Lezot, this one, Yikore Isha, she shall be called Isha, ki meish lakacha, because she was taken from what? Man. So you see, Adam spoke what? Not English. Spoke Hebrew, right? Ish, Isha. Now, Ish has a Yud. Isha has what? A Hey. That's God's name. Ish has a Yud, Isha has a Hey. So when husband and wife come together, who's the third partner in this marriage? Kodesh Baruch Hu. But if you take out God's name, you're left with Eish. Light my fire. If God is not present in the marriage, then the marriage, chas v'sholom, can turn into a destructive fire. Ish, Isha. It's amazing. In every Jewish marriage, there's what? There's a third partner. Please hear me well. Why does the woman wear the wedding band? Halachically. The man can also if he wants, but halachically, the man is not required. It's only the woman. Beryl, fasten your seatbelts. Why halachically does the woman have to wear a wedding band? Halachically, she has to wear it. The man doesn't have to wear it halachically. If he wants, he can. But why? So the Zohar HaKodesh explains God is called the Ein Sof. You ever wonder why all of the planets and stars are round? You ever wonder? There's zillions of galaxies. Is there one star or planet that's not round? Why are they all round? You ever wonder, Leah, why are they all round? The Zohar 2,000 years ago knew that all of the planets and stars are round without a telescope. Why are they all round? When a artist finishes his masterpiece, doesn't he sign as John Hancock? A masterpiece, Picasso, right? What's his name? Van Gogh? They sign. What's God's masterpiece? The universe. What's God's signature? The circle. Isn't that incredible? God's masterpiece is the universe. The Zohar Kodesh says God is represented, the Ein Sof is represented by a circle. A circle has no beginning and no end, symbolizing my endless love. Remember that song?
Yes.
That God's love for us has no beginning and no end. God has no beginning and no end. Is symbolized by what? A circle. Therefore, all of the planets in the universe, the stars, they're dafke round. They're not any other way, because this is God's signature, that He created the universe. So, the circle is a symbol of what? Of God. Endless. No beginning, no end. The Zohar says, why does the woman wear the wedding band? That in this marriage there's a third part. They say 3 is a crowd. Sarah, 3 is a crowd. But not in the Jewish marriage. Ish ve'isha, the Yud and the Hey. In every Jewish marriage, there's a third partner, the big boss. How do you remind yourself of the third partner? The wedding band. And she gets to wear it because she is more godlike. Women are closer to the big boss. So she gets to wear the symbol of the third partner in this marriage. Isn't that incredible? Women are more godlike. Women have a bina yetera, neshama, Torah, mitzvah, shechina. It's all feminine. So she gets to wear the symbol of the third partner in this marriage. Who's that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, the women halachically wears the ring. Isn't that incredible? The symbol of the third partner, the wedding ring. God's love for us is endless. God is endless. So the circle, in Kabbalistic terms, represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, the universe, all of the stars and planets, correct me if I'm wrong, is there any planet or star that's not round? No square planet, right? That's God's signature. When an artist creates a masterpiece, he signs his signature. God's signature is the circle. The planets testify that He is the creator. Okay? All the planets and stars are all around. Now the Zohar Kodesh says, throughout Jewish history, there were 5 cases of love at first sight. 5. Number 1, Bereshis 2:2-3. Adam exclaimed, this time, bone of my bone. As soon as he looked at Eve, he said, you're the only one for me. Wasn't that love at first sight? What a dish, wow. You're the only one for me, right? Get it? The only one for me. I only have eyes for you. Now, Rabbi Abraham, at a Sheva Brachis, they say, Sameach Tesamach, God makes the couple happy. Yitzchak began Eden. God makes His creatures happy like He made them happy in Gan Eden. Baruch Ato Hashem, v'sameach chatan v'kala. So God makes the couple happy. Why do you have to throw in Gan Eden for? In the Sheva Brachas, God makes you rejoice like He made the couple rejoice in Gan Eden, and God makes this couple rejoice. What has Gan Eden got to do with this couple now? What's the answer? Just like Adam laid eyes on Chava, he said, you're the only one for me, because there was nobody else. Ha 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 ha. So every chassan has to say to his kala, you're the only one for me. Just like Adam and Chava were the only one for each other, every Jewish couple, God says, you're the only one for me. So Yitzchak began Eden, the Sameach Chotan im Hakala, every kala, the chassan has to say, you're the only one for me. The dugma is what? Adam and Chava.
Know why it was Gan Eden?
Gan Eden, why? No mother-in-law. No in-laws. Oh. Ha ha ha. It was Gan Eden, no in-laws. Huh? You heard Henny Youngman? He said, I just came back from a pleasure trip. I just drove my mother-in-law to the airport. You don't like that, huh? Okay.
The language
Okay.
is this time, which implies there was something before.
Zotapam, this time. So I want to get into that. What do I mean this time? Etzem atzamai. So there's a strange Talmudic verse on that Adam tried to mate with other creatures. I remember there were humanoid creatures there. Avram, you're forcing my hand. You're forcing my hand here. Remember we spoke about that, about evolution? So this is a clear proof text. According to Kabbalah, there were human-like creatures roaming the earth together with Adam. Maybe Cro-Magnon chicks, Neanderthal chicks. So what made Adam and Chava unique, they were the only creatures that had the godly soul. Before that, he was having relations with humanoids. Right. Cro-Magnon, Neanderthal ladies, right? They looked human, but they did not possess the Tzelem Elokim. So he wasn't satisfied. Only when he saw Chava, he recognized that she, just like him, had the Tzelem Elohim. You're for me. It's not just about the intimate sex act, right? The other creatures looked human. They did not have the godly soul. So when he saw her, Zotapam, Avraham, thank you for bringing it up, this one is different because she also possesses a Tzelem Elohim. She also possesses a godly soul like I do, unlike what? All those other creatures, even though they looked human. Okay? So the first one, love at first sight, Yehuda, not love at first bite, was Adam and Chava. The Zohar mentions other four. The second one was whom? She fell off the camel. Bereshis 24:64. Have that side too. She fell off the camel. She fell for him in a big way, Abraham. She fell. Since I fell for you. So the second love at first sight was what? Rivka and Yitzchak. The third, look at the last source on the sheet, number 2. Bereshis 29. Rachel appeared with her father's sheep. She was the shepherdess. Jacob looked at his cousin Rachel. Right? One look at her, he stepped forward and rolled the stone from the top of the well, watering his uncle Laban's sheep. Jacob kissed Rachel. It was love at first sight, Yehuda. Now, kiss on the first date? Wasn't even like a date, was it? A blind date? Was Rachel Haredi? Very strange.
How old was she?
I don't know how old she was, but still, Yaakov kissed her on the first date. It was love at first sight. So, love at first sight, and a Beis Yaakov girl doesn't do that, right? Abraham. Sarah. So the Even Ezra gets grammatically Ulpan 103 with us. Look at the Hebrew, Yehuda. The last line in the Hebrew, Bereshis 29:9-11. Vayishak Yaakov l'Rachel. Is that proper Hebrew grammar? Vayishak Yaakov et Rachel. Oh, thank you, Rivka. The Even Ezra knew his Hebrew. A kiss on the mouth would be Vayishak Yaakov et Rachel. But it doesn't say that, Nechama. It says Vayishak Yaakov leRachel. LeRachel means he kissed her on the hand as greeting a cousin. In the ancient world, you would greet a cousin. There were cousins. In the ancient world, I think even today in some countries, they greet by a kiss on the hand. So it was not an erotic kiss. It doesn't say Vayishak Yaakov et Rachel, which would mean a kiss on the mouth. It says Vayishak Yaakov leRachel. Says Even Ezra, it means a kiss on the hand, greeting a relative. Okay? So why did he cry? Why did he cry? Why did he cry? It says he cried, right? He wept aloud. Why? So Rashi quotes Chazal because he saw that she won't be buried with him. So what are you crying now for? Leah, what are you crying now for? You won't be buried? You're thinking about burial? Now, let the good times roll. Why is he crying now that she won't be buried with him years later? Why cry now? You want to hear my question? So it's more than that. Yaakov foresaw with prophetic vision that he's not only buried with her. In Olam Haba, who is he with? With Leah. In Olam Haba, he's with Leah. Now please hear me well. I'll tell you why. Yaakov only wanted Rachel. He didn't know that Malchut Kuhuna Mashiach will come from the woman he does not want. Leah knew better. She knew better. Yaakov, the greatest of the Avot, hello, without the one he rejected, there'll be no Messiah, no kingship, no priesthood, no Levites. They all come from whom? The woman he doesn't want. Leah knew better. Without me, you're not going nowhere. But he loved Rachel. But in Olam Haba, he is with Leah. For some reason. Rachel was his mate in Olam Hazeh. But in Olam Haba, for eternity, he is Leah. Because without Leah, there's no Mashiach. There's no Kahuna. There's no redemption without Mama Leah. But he didn't want her. But she knew better. You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. Leah knew better than the greatest of the patriarchs. Without me, there's no Messiah, there's no final redemption. Comes from Yehuda. And kingship, priesthood, Levite, from whom? Levi, the one he doesn't want. That's why he cried.
Is that why Rachel is here still crying?
Why?
Rachel is still crying.
Why is Rachel still crying, right? Rachel is crying for her children, right? Rachel schemed with Leah to give over the password. Because Rachel knew without Leah there's no Mashiach. Rachel knew. Leah knew. Who didn't know? The husband is always the last to know. Yochanan, you heard what I just said? The husband is always the last to know. Rachel and Leah knew without the one that he rejected, there'd be no Messiah, no final redemption, no third temple. Wow. The ladies knew. Yaakov didn't know. That's why he's crying. Us guys are a little bit verstopped. How do you say that? Pretty amazing, huh? So where was I? Where were you up to, Yehuda? I hope you're keeping track. Number three. Number three is Rachel and Yaakov. The third, love at first sight. Number four, David and Abigail. David and Abigail. Abigail, my granddaughter's name. David took one look at your granddaughter too, okay? David, Abigail. What does Abigail mean? What does Gil mean in Hebrew? Sameach. My father rejoices me. Abigail. David took one look at Abigail and he said, you're for me. That's number 5. Don't rush me. And the fifth love at first sight was David and Bathsheba. The fifth love at first sight was David and Bathsheba. Now, if you read the Tanakh without the Talmud, you're getting less than half the story. Because if you read the Tanakh without the Talmud, it looks like David had relations with a married woman. Bathsheba was married to Uriah the Hittite. But when you read Tanakh without the Talmud, you're getting, Yechiel, a distorted picture. Distorted. The Talmud tells us that Bathsheba was a grusha. You know what that means? Divorced woman. There was a rule, every soldier in King David's army had to give his wife a get. There should no be, how do you say MIAs in English? There shouldn't be no missing in action, agunas, right? He's missing in action, he's held captive. So to avoid the problem, there was a rule that every soldier in King David's army was required to give his wife a get. When the soldier came back, he would what? Remarry her. So Bathsheba was a grusha. She was a divorced woman. like every soldier in King David's army. Uriah the Hittite, when he came back, could have remarried her. So when he had relations with her, she was what? Divorced. You read the Tanakh, you don't get that, right?
What happened to the Kohen?
Why did the prophet rebuke him?
So good question. A Kohen cannot remarry his own divorcee. So Kohanim Kohanim were like the chaplains.
In the army.
Well, the Kohanim were drafted. Kohanim were, they were like Shevet Levi. They were the learners, right? The learners, right? The Kohanim were the Koilel guys, right? You're right. The Kohen divorced his wife cannot remarry his own wife. But everybody else could. Yes?
That was practiced during the 19th century in Russia.
Really?
Yeah. A Jewish guy got called into the army, gave his wife a get on the condition that if he didn't come back after a certain time,
Right.
7 years,
She would be divorced.
there would be no more agunot.
No
For
agunot.
that reason, many Kohanim left Russia and immigrated to the United States.
They shouldn't have to do that because they divorced their wife. They can't remarry her own Gerusha.
No, but they would be in contact with them.
Right.
If they were in the army and disappeared in Siberia, you'd never know what happened to them.
And they didn't give the get because they're Kohanim.
They-
Right? A Kohen cannot take back
They
his...
do it on conditional. They say, here's a get, it takes effect in 7
Okay. So if the condition is not met, she's not divorced retroactively. Okay? But Tosfos in Kedushin says this was an outright get. All soldiers gave their wife a get while the getting's good. And so therefore, Bathsheba was what? A divorced woman when David had relations with her. If you don't say that, who built the first temple? Shlomo, the son of what? David and Bathsheba. If it was adulterous relationship, would God command Shlomo HaMelech to build a Beis HaMikdash? If he came from an adulterous union, he's the one that built the temple, and Mashiach comes from him. Mashiach comes from him. So why not tell me she was divorced? Why go like this when you can go like what? Is that the other way around? You can go like this.
Did David and
Why not? Why doesn't the Tanakh say so? You read the Tanakh without the Talmud, it looks like she was still a married woman. So the answer is that there's an oral Torah out there. The oral Torah, without the oral Torah, we don't know what it says. The written Torah, Tanakh, is written like a shorthand book. Shorthand. If you don't have the code, you don't know what it says. So the written Tanakh is written this way to teach that without the oral Torah, we don't know what it says. To confuse me? No, to teach an oral Torah out there. There's an oral Torah out there. Of the two Torahs, which is more beloved to God? Shalmi Peah says that of the two Torahs, the oral Torah is more beloved to God. Yishalmi doesn't say why. If it would, I would be unemployed. But I'll tell you why, I think. Shalmi Peah says that of the two Torahs, the oral Torah is more precious to God than the written Torah. You want to know why? I'll tell you what I think. The written Torah is written on animal skin. The oral Torah, I've got you under my skin. Where's the oral Torah written? Under my skin, on my godly soul. Animal skin, written on my skin, what's more important? So why was the oral Torah supposed to be kept oral? Rabbi had no choice, he had to write it down because he got verstoppt the cups, right? But it's supposed to be kept oral. Why? So the Zohar says something amazing. When two lovers are madly in love with each other, they have a secret lovey-dovey talk. Cupcake, sugar pie, honey bunch, kuchi shmuchi. Says the Zohar HaKadosh. The written Torah, it's written. Everybody could read it. Even Billy Graham can read it. It's open for everybody. The oral Torah is the secret lovey-dovey kuchi shmuchi between God and Israel. sugar pie, honey bunch. We don't want the rest of the world to know the lovey-dovey terms that we and God call each other. Nebuch, Rebbe had to write it down because we were forgetting the lovey-dovey honey bunch. But the Zohar says that's why it's more precious. The oral Torah is the secret lovey-dovey talk between God and Israel. We don't want the rest of the world, Yehuda, tuned in. It's not the business. Oral Torah. And therefore, when Rebbe wrote it down, he wrote it down in such a way that even without the oral tradition, you know what it says? It's a lot of bizarre statements in the Mishnah and the Gemara. Why is it written that way? So that you need the oral tradition to understand what Rebbe meant. You still need that oral tradition. He wrote it down, but not completely. It was disguised. We don't want to lose that intimacy of the secret lovey-dovey talking God and Israel. So even the written Torah, the oral Torah is written down, you still need a teacher to give you, Sarah, the inside story. The story behind the story. That's the oral Torah. So these are the 5 of love at first sight. And again, the Zohar Kodesh says that when God looked at Israel, he fell in love with Israel. It was love at first sight. Okay, so Judaism does believe in what? In love at first sight. And that's what happened to Rivka and Yitzchak. Any questions? We have a shiur Thursday at 2 o'clock called Current Events in the Haftorah. Thank you very much.